Well, while we're diving at 5 metres, I was to accidentally cut myself. I wouldn't actually bleed red. I would bleed a brownie colour until I came within a metre of the surface, and then my blood would change to red. And your last colours to go are blues and purple, and that's at 3 metres. Why is that, you may be thinking? Well, water is a lot denser than air, so the sun can only penetrate so far into the water, and the first colours to go on the colour spectrum are your reds at 1 metre. Does everyone understand that? Obviously not. All very simple. Yeah, people have the wrong idea about what the colours are going to be like. All to do with the light. Now, natural light, the coral naturally, under natural light is pastels. It's a pastel colour, no bright colours. About the brightest colour you will see out here is blue staghorn. We've already been over a little bit of it already. It's not that it's bright, it just stands out because of how vividly dark blue it is. It's actually at, if you had time today, at 2:30, you want to go to Marineland Melanesia. At 2:30 they do, Toddy does a private tour out in a little garden growing in the back of Marineland Melanesia. And he actually displays it under the blue light. Has anyone ever been to a blue light? Disco or anything like that? At nightclub, it's got the blue light on, all your teeth are really quiet, your eyes stand out to about 1 hour. When coral is showing up blue light, it has all the bright iridescent things. So different lights give it different colours. Now all these corals have a name. There's a big long scientific Latin name that take me all the glass bottom boat trip just trying to pronounce one of them. What we do is we name them by what they appear to look like. So stuff that looks like deer antlers, well that's staghorn. Small, round, flat-looking ones are called plates. Larger varieties of those are called favourite coral. Now those 3 corals are the fastest growing corals on the reef. They grow up to 15 centimetres a year. And then you got ones that look like a rock. Well, that's the boulder coral, crane coral, honeycomb coral. They only grow 1 centimetre a year. So some are slow growing, some are fast growing coral. Obviously, the faster you grow, the more fragile you are. The slower you grow, the more dense and solid. And it's generally your boulder corals are your foundation corals. Once they've established themselves and got large enough, then other corals attached to them, and that's how a new reef starts. Now, has anyone seen any slug-looking creatures down there yet? No. Haven't seen any? Okay, we'll keep looking. When you do see one, it'll be long, some are black, some look like pineapple skin. That's why we call them pineapple skin sea cucumbers. Sea cucumbers is what I'm looking for. Another name for them is beach demur. Numberfall is another name for them. Numberfall. You normally find them around the sandy patches because they're actually like a big vacuum cleaner. There's sea cucumbers is what I'm looking for. And what they do is they travel across the sand. They take in dirty sand in one end, take anything nutrient that they're looking for out of that sand, and out the other end comes clean sand. Sometimes you'll be snorkeling around, you'll see these, looks like Mr. Whippy That's actually from the sea cucumber. They actually also have a fish lives up their bottom. It's called the pearl fish. And sorry if I got into you guys on the right side a little bit wet. But unfortunately, I've got the waves coming this way now. So. The wind's certainly getting stronger and stronger as the day goes. Now we're going to start cruising over to our fish feeding area now. So I'm going to do some fish feeding, throw some fish food out the side. So that's where your camera should be pointing. Yeah. They'll also be underneath us, but basically just waiting for me to throw more fish food. Right. Now, not that the colours are perfect today, because the reason why the visibility is not so crash hot today, it's all to do with that big reef right out the front. That's what we call the windward side of the reef. And how the sand is created is the smashing up the wave action across the top of that reef, smashes up corals and shells. That's how coral sand is made. But on days like today, when it's 20 to 25 knots, lots of wave action, that picks up all the sand particles. And that goes into the water. That's why the visibility gets shorter, because of the sand. Like yesterday it was like 5 to 10 metre visibility. Today it's about 2 to 5 metres. But as soon as the wind starts to pick up, the water goes a bit green, visibility gets very, very short, unfortunately. But what I like to point out on this area here, normally this area of water in right now is a nice turquoise colour. And that's just denoting the fact that that's a sandy bottom. But if we look over to my left here, you'll notice there's like a little patch of coral just here, so about 20 foot off my left-hand side. Then it goes turquoise again. Then there's a dark area further over. That dark area over there is seagrass. Now, the seagrass only grows up to a certain distance to the coral because the coral gives off a pesticide. Stop the seagrass thing over. Like this little patch of coral out in front of us, you'll notice it's got that circle of turquoise around it that will only allow the seagrass to grow up to a certain distance. Now, another thing they discovered about coral, certain times of the year, we get these really abnormal low tides. It was actually about 6-7 weeks ago when all this coral